In 1910, the U.S. Secret Service put its best agents on a single target, one man who had to be watched 24 hours a day. He wasn't building a bomb. He wasn't robbing banks. He sold bananas on a train. The file at the State Department said in all caps, if he buys a boat, we have a problem. Because if they blinked, this banana salesman was going to buy a warship, hire a private army of sociopaths, and invade a sovereign nation. Spoiler, he bought the boat. Some context, don't leave, your dopamine is on the way. Honduras, a country sitting on the one thing America cannot stop eating, bananas. In 1910, the country owed everyone money, especially British banks. At the same time, America had a new hobby, telling other countries how to run their money. President Taft wanted the U.S. Treasury to take over Honduras customs to pay the debt. A famous American bank was already measuring the curtains and printing business cards that said, owner of Honduras, pending. And in the middle of it all was Sam Zemurray, a kid who showed up in the United States with $0, landed first in Alabama, and figured out that overripe bananas everyone else threw away were still good for 3 days if you put them on a fast train. He started buying rotten bananas on the docks of Mobile, Alabama, and selling them up the railroad before they turned black. He didn't invent bananas. He invented next-day delivery before FedEx had a logo. By the time he was 30, he was rich. He went to Honduras and said, I'll build you railroads and irrigation. You give me land and no taxes. Honduras said, deal. Then Honduras got a new president who said, actually, no, 50% tax. And we're giving your railroad to United Fruit, your big brother who hates you. Basically, the Google or SpaceX of bananas back then. A normal CEO files a lawsuit. Sam files a shopping list. 1 gunboat, 100 rifles, 1 exiled president, and 1 mercenary in a white suit. It's like if Netflix raised your subscription by $2 and your response was to rent a nuclear submarine to shell their headquarters. If LinkedIn had been around back then, this would have been the worst team ever put together, and yet it worked. Meet the startup team founder, Sam Zemurray, 33, banana millionaire, 5'6". Looks like your accountant, but thinks like Genghis Khan with a produce license. His motivation, spite tax efficiency. Co-founder, Manuel Bonilla, exiled ex-president of Honduras, currently unemployed, living above a bar in New Orleans. Perfect LinkedIn status, open to work, presidency, he really wants his old job back. HR department, Lee Christmas, the secret weapon. A 6'3", 200-pound man of pure muscle, forged by shoveling coal on Mississippi trains. By 1910 standards, this guy wasn't a soldier, he was a transformer. A former railroad engineer who was such a terrible train driver he crashed everything he touched in America. He fled to Honduras where he thought crashing things is considered leadership, the ultimate example of failing upwards across borders. He wears only white suits into jungle warfare because he has main character syndrome before cinema existed. Investor, the American taxpayer, who has no idea he's about to fund this. Their office is a hotel room in New Orleans that smells like ramen conspiracy. The business model is simple. Sam funds everything. Bonilla provides legal legitimacy. Lee provides the part where people shoot. The plan, they buy a former U.S. Navy gunboat, the Hornet. It's rusty, it leaks, but it floats and can hold guns. They load it with mercenaries, hired off the docks guys who would have said yes to literally any job that wasn't farm work. Machine guns, enough ammo to rewrite a constitution. Then they sail to Honduras and put Bonilla back in power. In return, Bonilla gives Sam 0 taxes forever. This is not a metaphor. The U.S. government finds out. President Taft is furious. He orders the Secret Service, do not let that banana man leave the country. So Sam does what any respectable CEO would do under federal surveillance. He throws a rager. He rents the best restaurant in the French Quarter, invites every single agent tailing him, and buys them all the whiskey in Louisiana. The official reports from Washington say the agents simply lost his trail. But let's be honest, in the language of corporate damage control, that's just a polite way of saying the federal agents became temporarily incapacitated due to hospitality. While they are blackout drunk, Sam slips out the back window, runs to the docks, and boards the Hornet. He literally Alt-4D'd the United States government. Final review before setting sail, ex-president looking for a job, check. Train-wrecking general in a white suit, check. Rusty, leaking gunboat, check. A crew of sociopathic mercenaries, check. Machine guns, check. Part A of the plan, check. Ready to sail. Then the Navy stops them at sea. This should be the end. A U.S. cruiser points its cannons at a rusty banana boat full of felons. He screams, surrender! The captain shouts, stop, you're smuggling weapons to start a war. But Sam had registered all the weapons under Bonilla's name. Bonilla, as a former head of state, is technically a foreign dignitary transporting his personal belongings. You know, clothes, grandma's standing clock, and enough weapons and ammunition that everyone will always agree with you. And under U.S. maritime law obsessed with private property, the Navy cannot seize private property of a foreign citizen without a warrant from Washington, which would take 3 weeks by telegraph. The Navy captain, trained to fight the Spanish Empire, is now defeated by a fruit company terms and conditions loophole. He reads the law, reads it again, realizes the most powerful Navy on Earth just got beaten by a precursor to a PDF. They can't seize the boat. So they do the only thing left. They escort it to Honduras to make sure it doesn't get lost. The U.S. Navy became Sam's free Uber to the invasion. The invasion takes a few weeks. Not because Lee Christmas was a tactical genius, but because the actual Honduran army hadn't been paid in months, and Sam's mercenaries actually had bullets, plus an absurd amount of modern machine guns. It's not a war. It's a hostile takeover with better logistics. Lee Christmas in his white suit, now covered in mud and glory, marches into the capital Tegucigalpa. The sitting president flees. Manila's president again. He walks back into the presidential palace, sits down, and signs the only document Sam cares about: 0 taxes for Cayamo fruit for 25 years, plus an extra 25,000 acres for the inconvenience. Overnight, bananas get cheaper in every American grocery store. Every time your grandma bought a banana in 1911, she was subsidizing a coup. You want to talk about supply chain efficiency? The word they invented for this was banana republic. We use it as an insult now. Back then, it was a business plan. And Sam! United Fruit tries to crush him for years, so Sam does the most Sam thing ever. He quietly uses his coup money to buy United Fruit's own stock. In 1930, he walks into their board meeting in Boston and says, "Hi, I'm your biggest shareholder. You're all fired." The man who started by selling rotten bananas on a train now owns 80% of the world's banana market. He didn't disrupt the industry. He ate it. Sam didn't win because he was the smartest. He won because he understood the system better than the system understood itself. Honduras needed debt relief. The U.S. needed property rights. The Navy needed paperwork. Sam gave everyone exactly what their rules said they wanted, while getting the opposite of what they intended. So the next time you see a cheap banana at the supermarket and think, as all of us average citizens do, "Wow, global logistics are amazing!" Yeah, part of that amazing logistics was once a guy in a white suit invading a nation because an accountant said taxes are up this quarter. If you ever feel like your side hustle isn't going anywhere, remember this guy started with trash bananas and ended up owning the government that taxed them. Tax this. Disclaimer, this is historical satire. The only thing seriously injured here was the concept of free trade. Some details have been compressed, rearranged, and occasionally mugged by imagination for the sake of the story.